I kind of lived a little bit of everything, so I'll just kind of have to do a general overview. In Manaus particular, I was kind of surprised. I went there, I was kind of expecting the jungle hut type deal. It's a very, very industrialized city. I was really surprised. I found out later that it's actually like the 5th largest city in Brazil. I was like, what? It's sitting out in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads to nowhere. The only way you can get in and out is by plane or by boat. And it's the 5th biggest city in Manaus, in Brazil. It's very industrialized. It produces, I think, 70% of the electronics that they use in Brazil. A lot of the cars too. So there, the standard of living was actually, it was higher. It wasn't quite at our level. I would say, not to be mean or anything, it's a lot like Mexican quarters in the cities that we have around here. It's a pretty basic lifestyle. Depending on the apartment, you might have some apartments that are really, really nice. They're going to be really expensive. And then there's apartments that it's just like, it's a 2 or a 3-story building. Every floor is an apartment. You're paying like 200 reais a month, like 75 bucks, if that, a month for rent. Also for work, they literally will do just about anything. Outside of Manaus, I would see, we called them hippies. They would be the people, the artisans. They would go out into the jungle for months at a time, and they would come back and they'd have all these trinkets, the wire work, the bead work that they've learned how to do. And some of it was really cool stuff. At one time I did have a necklace with a jaguar claw on it, but I lost it. I was kind of sad about that. But literally, we could talk to them and they would do just about anything. They could build anything. A lot of the people, they see a need, or they'll see something that they want to do and they'll go out and do it. Met a lot of kids, young kids, they would be out and they're selling ice cream on the road. Homemade ice cream. They called it picolé. It's basically just like frozen yogurt in a little plastic sack about that long, about that wide. They'd sell it for like 25 cents. They just have a little styrofoam cooler full of it. Be walking around, picolé, picolé. Just selling this. By the bus stations, the bus terminals, there would be a lot of that. Everybody would go there, it looked like. Everybody they were just working, they needed to work. So they would buy stuff at a store. They would buy like water and ice, and they would keep it cool, and they would just walk around selling it on the bus terminals. And they made a lot of money with it, actually. They made quite a bit because the people would buy it. It's just so hot there. Last year, the record, I don't know how high it got in Fahrenheit degrees. I can just tell you it got to 50 degrees Celsius. So it was really, really hot. President Castro, who was after President Klein while I was there, actually told the missionaries, do not go outside. It's too hot to work. So the missionary work in Manaus was stopped for a week because they just could not go outside. It was probably 100 degrees inside the houses, 130 outside. It was really hot. One of the first things that I did for the Christmas conference when I got there, we went to the Army Zoo. And it's like their jungle specialists have a zoo that they have all the animals, and they'll learn about them because that's what they do. They go out in the jungle. They're after the poachers, all the criminals and everything who go hide out. So they have to know how to live out there. And they are really cool soldiers. Outside of Manaus, there was a lot of fun stuff. There was one area up in Boa Vista that we were helping one of the sisters clean up her yard, doing a little service project, and we found this toad. It was that big. This thing was massive, probably weighed 5 pounds. So we just put that in a sack. And my companion had a flashlight that he bought that had a taser on it, so he kept shocking this toad until it ended up dying. And then actually 2 days later, when we were walking back to our apartment, it was like another one of those hour walks to get back. We found there was this guy, he'd ridden by us on his bike, and he just stopped and he was holding something down with his tire. And we're like, what is going on here? So we walk up there, and he's got a snake pinned down. It was about that long, just pinned down. So he got it and he wanted to put it in his aquarium. So we found a water bottle on the side of the road. And he put the snake in the water bottle and took off. And then I was talking to my companion. He said, "Yeah, that snake probably wasn't alone because that was a baby." They call it a sukuri. That's the anaconda. So we saw an anaconda that big, and then while I was I had my flashlight out, I was just kind of looking around. I could see, it was like, I want to say that 40 yards out, I could see like the little red eyes. I don't know if it was a mom or if it was something else, but it was like, that was a little sketchy because that area, it was a dip and it was just like a little stream. And just completely overgrown, yellow, dirty water. There could be anything hiding in there and you wouldn't know it. In Manaus, it was just out in the middle of nowhere. It was kind of fun. We went fishing a couple times off the dock. I can't say I got a big fish, which was kind of a bummer because I saw some of the really big ones down there. Actually, they eat a lot of them. It's really good stuff. But the biggest fish I caught was about 2 inches long. It was kind of ridiculous. But we heard about areas there that you could go out, you could see the crocodiles in the water. One of the areas, actually, one of the members he has a chicken farm. Like 12,000 chickens, everything out in the middle of the jungle. So he'd have to be out there every once in a while, just making sure that the jaguars aren't taking his chickens. So he said that he's seen jaguar there a couple of times. He's seen black ones, the normal spotted, everything. Cruzeiro do Sul, we saw the river dolphins, everything there. Ji-Paraná, it was a little bit more like what you would think of like Midwestern United States. It was one of the richer cities in the mission, and it was just a lot. There were a lot of, they call themselves the Gaúcho, the cowboys, the hillbilly type of people. They would have a horse. They'd ride the horse down the road. Everything. It was kind of a neat place to be.